Today we will be talking about Roman Empire. We will see the cultural, economic and social development that took place during Roman Empire. First of all, we will talk about gender and family life of Roman Empire. Nuclear family. When a son grew up, he got married, he had to separate from his father's family. Daughters' right. In Roman Empire, daughters had full right in their father's property, but not in their husbands. Arranged marriages. In a Roman Empire, we see that marriages were arranged. Easy divorce. Only intention had to be given and divorce was achieved by both husband as well as the wife. Marriage age. For girls, we see that marriage age was from 18 to 20s, whereas for the boys, for men, it was around 30 years. So, there was a great difference of age between husband and wife. Domination of husbands. Husband dominated his wife. In public, women showed the bruises they had received from their husbands. Now, we will talk about literacy of Roman Empire. Advertisements. Pompeii city of Italy that was buried in volcanic eruption shows advertisements in the street walls. Graffitis also are seen. These are sufficient proof of literacy in Roman Empire. Besides, annals, records maintained by soldiers, estate managers, army officers have also been found in papyri contains. Languages. Besides Greek and Latin, we find a number of local languages in Roman Empire. Coptic language spoken in Egypt, Punic and Berber in North Africa, Celtic language in Spain. Papyrus remains records of army officers, soldiers and state managers. Now, entertainment of Roman Empire. Public bath. We have swimming pools in modern days. Earlier, there were public baths for people for entertainments. Spectacular. Spectacular were shows for persons, mainly army, soldiers, etc. It is said that there were 176 days shows in a year during Roman Empire, and that was a great achievement. Amphitheatre. Amphitheatres were a main feature of Roman Empire, where soldiers did the drilling and the shows were also observed by them there. Mosaic painting. These mosaic painting, they were also means of entertainment. They also provide lot of information to us about Roman Empire. Gladiators in Colosseum. Colosseum of Roman Empire was main attraction for entertainment, a very horrible piece of entertainment. Here, with the name of Colosseum comes in our mind the story of Androcles, a runaway slave who saved the lion, who, showing loyalty, refused to tear and eat him. In this massive Colosseum, about 60,000 audience could sit at a time, and the horrible fight between gladiators and wild animals were observed by the king and the public. Now, we will come to the culture of Roman Empire. Cultural diversity. As told earlier, because Roman Empire extended to a vast region, there was a lot of cultural diversity found here. Religious cults and local deities. There was polytheism practiced, different types of gods, abbeys, monasteries were found. Plurality of languages. Coptic, Celtic, Punic, Berber, Greek, Latin, different languages were spoken widely. Dress style and costumes. Because Roman Empire covered a vast area, we observed variety of dress style and costumes as well as food habits. Settlements. we see that there were different types of settlements and organization in Roman Empire. For instance, transhumans practicing people, they carried their huts with them, that was known as Mappalia. Here in this picture, we see Emperor Justinian in gown. We have to observe the long gown, the crown, hood behind Emperor Justinian to understand the diverse culture. Diversity of culture can be seen here. Mosaic painting from Syria, in which King Abgar is seen with his queen and his family. We can clearly see the dress difference. Now, we will talk about the economic expansion of Roman Empire. Roman Empire had a strong economic infrastructure. It had trade, mining, quarries, industries, etc. Amphora. Amphoras were the containers in which the traders carried the wine and olive oil for export. Transhumance. Transhumance was also practiced by the people of Roman Empire. Water power technology. Surprising, hard to believe, but during that time, in the beginning of BC time, we see that the Roman water power technology was very much developed, that is seen nowadays in our world. In that time, Roman people used to use water power in the mines of silver and gold. Banking and money. They also contributed in the economic expansion of Roman Empire. In this picture, we see a large number of amphoras. One thing is very strange about these amphoras, they were found in a shipwreck in France, but they are made in Italy and there is seal on them of Spain. So, what does this tell? That there was wide export of olive oil. One more thing about the economic condition of Roman Empire, about olive oil. Italy was the first producer, then olive oil shifted to Spain, from Spain to North Africa and then to Eastern world. So, what does this show? That the quality of the good increased and cost decreased. We have talked about the economic development of Roman Empire, but if we think the reason for this development, we come to the workers and the slaves. Actually, for economic raise of Roman development, it were the slaves who were responsible. The emperors took war prisoners as slaves and got all the work of the Roman Empire done by them. So, we will have to discuss the position of slaves here. Chained feet. This does not speak well of the slave treatment. They were put to live in groups, their feet were chained so that they could not run away from their work. Branded. The slaves were branded also, so that they could not run away, hide, escape from their work, and if found, punished brutally. Debt bondage. Once a person, poor man, came into the grip of the upper classes, throughout the life he had to work as a bonded labor for them. Brutal treatment by Emperor Nero. The slaves were very brutally treated. Once Emperor Nero ordered that all the slaves living under certain roof, they should be murdered. Upper class people supported this judgment, whereas the common people rose against this. Here in this picture, we see agriculture conditions of Roman Empire, plowing and vineyard workers. Now, we will talk about social hierarchy of Roman Empire, senators and equites. Senators and the knights, they held the highest position in the society. In beginning, the senators of Italy only were given important position, high position, but later on the people from other provinces of Roman Empire, they were also given high status. Income of the knights, senators was very high. Lower class. The working class people included the slaves also, they were generally known as plebs. Slowly in Roman society we find one more class, and that was the middleman. The merchants, the farmers, they came into middleman group, corrupt high middle class. Income of the high class and middle class was very much, even then they were corrupt, but there were some people, sincere people in Roman Empire, that they were intelligentsia or the high level people. They opposed the corruption prevalent in the high and middle class people. Strong laws. In Roman society, there was a tradition of laws. Laws were very strict. Even the king, he had to obey those laws. He was not free to act according to his own will. Roman architecture, aqueducts, dam-like structures in Roman Empire to carry water for irrigation and other purposes. Colosseum, shops in Forum Julium with columns. This is also a piece of architecture of Roman Empire. This picture shows the aqueducts, a piece of architecture of Roman Empire by which people used to irrigate their fields. Another example of Roman architecture is a shop. We see it with its column. We see that the Roman Empire that had vast lineage of emperors from Julius Caesar, Augustus, Tiberius to Diocletian and Constantine, a lot of development was made which had its far-reaching influence in the coming world. Today, we have discussed the family life, the condition of workers, the architectures, means of entertainment, and many other things about Roman Empire.